Welcome back, everyone. It is Saturday, April 19th in the MLB, and we got 5 picks ready to go in this video. As always, it's Austin, joined by Logan, recapping yesterday. A winning day, Logan. We'll take it. 5-3. Could have been much better, but we'll take the 5 winners. We had Naylor and Bush in that insane game in Wrigley Field. What the heck was that game? No runs really going in the 6th, and then bang, 16 runs in the 7th or 8th inning. We cashed the Angels' first 5 team total. We cashed the under, a little sweaty in Toronto. Over in Citi Field was a sweaty one. Needed a homer in the top of the 9th. We'll take that. Rangers lose the first 5, 1-0. And unfortunately, our other 2 losers, we need to bring out the sad music or something because NRFI Nation is gone. And sadly, we got to take these flags and remove them. Get the hell out of here. We're out. We're out on NRFI Nation. We're done. Yeah, we tried. It basically came down to if we split yesterday, we were okay with it. Came down to Sandy Alcantara, NRFI GOAT, to just get us 3 outs, and NRFI Nation would go on the rest of the season. And he couldn't get it done. I think that's poetic justice. NRFI Nation is dead. And for the people asking for Yerfie Nation, what you want? You think Logan and I are cashing a Yerfie? Come on. That's going to be the quickest 6 outs you've ever seen. If you are still a NRFI better, wait for Logan to take an over in a game. That is a NRFI. There you go. That's the quickest 6 outs you'll ever see. But, hey, we will certainly take a 5-3 day. A lot of winners yesterday. The goal today, Logan, got to do it again. We got 5 picks. Let's dive into them. I'm going to lead off these things with a hits, runs, and RBIs play that I really like. Let's hope we get a homer. Michael Bush and Josh Naylor had to get 2 hits yesterday. We don't need 2 hits. Let's get a homer out of this fella, and it's Manny Machado. First play of the day, over 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs. A 1-unit play at -120 on Bet365. Obviously, Manny plays for the Padres, and I think he's in for a great matchup tonight against Hayden Wesneski and the Astros. Now, yesterday, if you back Manny Machado in a hit parlay or hits, runs, RBIs, he left you hanging. He went 0 for 4. It wasn't like it was an 0 for 4 or 4 Ks, though. He had 3 balls that he put in play. They had a 370, a 690, and an 880 expected batting average. He just got unlucky. Today, I like his spot, though, against Hayden Wesneski. Now, obviously, Manny's going to bat in the 3 spot here for the Padres. And think about the guys in front of him, Fernando Tatis, Luis Arias, guys that we know can get on base or can move runners over. And Manny Machado is that guy that they're relying on to produce some runs. And we've seen Wesneski. He's had a good start to a season, a whip below 1, but he has struggled a little bit against righties. That's where he has given up 8 hits, and 8 of those 8 hits, 4 of them are home runs. Hopefully, Manny can put one into the Crawford boxes. Yesterday, I think he had a ball that was hit in a home run in like 7 of 30 ballparks, just not to the right part of the stadium. But Manny has seen Wesneski before. Pretty good splits, 3 for 5 lifetime. In front of him, Tatis, 2 for 6. Arise, 2 for 5. So again, I look at this as a spot where I think Manny comes up. Some guys are on base. We know the Padres, a much better offense against right-handed pitchers. And we look at the pitches he's probably going to see from Wesneski. A lot of 4-seamers, sweepers, and sinkers this season. His expected batting average versus righty pitches got a 318 versus the 4-seamer, 265 versus the sweeper, and 484 versus the sinker, or sweeper and sinker. Hopefully I said that right. But either way, we've seen Manny do a really good job at limiting those strikeouts. I think this is a great spot for him. So I'll take his over 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs. My first play of the day, I think, is a winner. But I'm throwing it to Logan. He's got a team total pick, and I think this team's coming through for us. Logan, where are you going today?
Yeah, so for my team total pick, I'm taking the Kansas City Royals. Team total over 3.5, -120 odds on Caesars is your best value there. Now, again, what I've talked about this whole season, either you're going to get those hits with runners in scoring position or you don't. Yesterday on paper, Royals really didn't. They went 2 for 13 with runners in scoring position, left 14 on base. Yeah, I mean, that's tough. Law of averages, I have to play this play today. KC is under this line in both games versus Detroit this series, but I really do actually like this matchup versus Casey Mize today, who starts with the Tigers. 2.6 ERA, 1.04 whip for Casey Mize. He finally regressed in his last start because we've been waiting on that. If you've been waiting for Casey Mize to regress, he's been good most of the season. But in his last start, 5 2/3 innings pitched, 7 hits, 4 earned runs, only 3 strikeouts versus the Twins. Several of these Royals hitters have great splits versus Casey Mize. Let's talk about him. Salvi Perez hitting 480 against him. Garcia hitting 800. Witt Jr. 500. Isbell 500. There's a lot of guys in this lineup that seen Mize before and have had success versus him. I like them to be able to get hits and runs off on him for sure today. And with runners in scoring position, Mize is allowing a 364 batting average, 250 batting average with men on. So really, with those guys in scoring position, Hopefully the Royals can get those timely hits. Yesterday they left a lot of guys stranded out there. Royals really struggle against ground ball righties. 13th most ground outs against right-handed pitching. Mize, not a really heavy ground ball pitcher, just 26th percentile in ground ball percentage. That's really where I think this Royals offense struggles. Either if they struggle sometimes to some strikeout heavy righties or ground ball. This isn't really Mize's game. I think they get to him today. And then can we find a run or two in the Tigers bullpen? They're just 14th in bullpen ERA with a 3.7 bullpen ERA. I think that we can find at least a run or two in that bullpen portion. I really think this team total's just set a little bit too low for this Royals team. I think they score 4+ runs today, and I think they cash that team total. Austin, got another prop. Where are you going?
Yeah, I got another hits, runs, and RBIs prop that I think is pretty solid. And I'm rocking a Rays jersey because it is a Rays player, and that's going to be Junior Caminero. Give me his over 1.5 hits, runs, and RBIs. Same exact play as the first one we talked about with Manny Machado. I believe FanDuel does have the HRR prop market. They just don't like to post them until closer to game time. So you can find it on almost every single book will have the hits, runs, and RBIs market. This is -130, so a little bit more juice than Manny, given that this is a total set to 9.5 in Tampa Bay. We know this is a very hitter-friendly ballpark. They'll be facing the Yankees, and I think this is a great spot for Junior Caminero against Carlos Carrasco. Now, they don't call him Cookie for nothing. He has struggled, to say the least, to start the season, and we saw Junior yesterday, didn't come through for the hits, runs, RBIs, did get a hit. He also had 2 balls hit with a 111 or higher expected miles per hour exit velocity. So he was crushing the baseball. One of them had an 830 expected batting average. Just didn't come through. Like I said, he's going to get Carlos Carrasco. If there's one thing I don't love about Junior Caminero, he swings the bat super hard. I think he's 100th percentile in bat speed, but sometimes when he swings super fast, you might be prone to the strikeouts and the whiffs, but that's never really been Carlos Carrasco's game. So let's hope he can avoid the strikeouts here and put the ball in play, because when he puts the ball in play, it's fast. And this season, we see him, he's looking at the pitches that he's going to see, a lot of sliders and sinkers this season. Junior batting 364 versus the slider and 333 versus the sinker. So again, those two pitches he's seen really well. He's hitting about equal against righties, but those two pitches, specifically slider and sinker, are actually Junior's lowest 2 whiff percentage pitches. So we like that. We like him not whiffing on those pitches. Like I said, Carrasco struggling, 8.31 ERA on the road, a 320 batting average allowed to righties, a 1.17 OPS to righties as well. I think this is a guy in Junior Caminero that likely, if I had to guess where he is in the lineup, batting 5th. So right behind the leadoff guy, but in front of him is going to be Yandy Diaz, Jonathan Aranda, who is destroying righties so far this season, and behind him Palacios and Mangum, who have been both hitting the ball pretty well. So I look at Junior. If he can get on base, I trust the guys behind him. I also think he can come up with guys in front of him, and ultimately I think this is just a smash spot for them against Carlos Carrasco. Should be a high scoring game, given yesterday was 1-0. Today get a 9.5 total. I think Junior Caminero does some damage, and he could realistically hit a home run today off Carlos Carrasco. We'll just take the over in hits, runs, and RBIs, though. I think is a smash spot for Mr. Junior Caminero. But Logan, you got another play for the people, and it's going to be a hit parlay. I love your jersey. Who you rolling?
Yeah, I mean, if you guys have been watching this channel, you can know when I put on this Phillies jersey who I'm repping. It's going to be Trey Turner and Brendan Donovan. 2-leg hit parlay, -114 odds on DraftKings, your best value. Yes, we need both these guys to come through for a hit. First leg of this parlay, it's my boy, Trey Turner. I have not bet on him this season yet, and let's start now. He's been a cash cow for us in years past. Even though the Phillies offense was great last night, Trey Turner, look at the box score. You went hitless. Trey hasn't had back-to-back hitless games since the first 2 games of the season. Remember, he started kind of injured to start off the year. First 2 games, he went hitless. But then he normally bounces back. He's a very good hitter at not going 2 consecutive games hitless. And quite honestly, if he goes hitless today, I'll be back on him tomorrow. I really just think Trey at Citizens Bank Park, I find it hard to believe him going hitless back-to-back. Today he faces Cal Quantrill of the Marlins. Against Quantrill, Trey's seen him before. He's 2 for 6, 333 with a home run in there. Maybe sprinkle on his bases. I don't know. I'm not lucky enough to get bases, but right now I just want to hit. Against righties, Quantrill allowing a 429 batting average to righties. That's incredible, and that's what we need today. I really do think Trey is in a great position. We also know he's very fast, can leg out those infield singles. That's why we love backing a guy like Trey Turner for a hit. And then the second leg of the parlay is going to be Brendan Donovan to get a hit. Now, if you guys have been sleeping on some of these hot hitters, Jordan Dubco, by the way, I send out the hot hitter sheet of guys who are on hit streaks. And Brendan Donovan is on a crazy hit streak right now, currently on a 14-game hit streak, which is best in the MLB by 3 games. I mean, he's been absolutely cooking anybody. If you just look at comparatively, during that span, he's hitting 463 on that hit streak. Brendan Donovan's one of those, like, he's not a Shohei Ohtani type guy who's going to get all the recognition, but he's just good at putting the ball in play, and that's what we need against Kodai Senga today. Senga is allowing a 379 batting average to lefties, which Donovan obviously bats as a lefty. Donovan hitting 429 versus righties this season. Again, just crazy great averages and splits for this one. He's 100th percentile in expected batting average, which is the 363. I've never seen 100th percentile in expected batting average, but Brendan Donovan is that. His whiff percentage and K percentage, 97th percentile, 91st percentile, respectively. Against a really good strikeout guy like Kodai Senga, you cannot whiff. You just got to be a good contact hitter. That's what Brendan Donovan's shown us for most of the year. So I do love this hit parlay. These 2 guys, Trey and Brendan Donovan, to get it done for us. Love that as my pick. Austin, what else are you rolling with, though?
Got to wrap up the video with a pitcher prop. I've already done 2 batter props. We need a pitcher prop, and this one might be a little bit unique. It's another strikeout prop, which I think we are 2-0 on strikeout props, but it is a little bit of a parlay, and I'll put it on the screen and then kind of talk through it because it's 2 legs, and you'll notice the 2 legs are both on Chad Patrick, the Brewers pitcher. It's his under 4.5 strikeouts and his under 15.5 outs. Now we know those are 2 separate markets. They are a little bit correlated because if he's not going far into the game, less opportunities for him to get strikeouts. I parlayed them together. It's plus 130 on Fanatics. On DraftKings, you can find this at, when I looked at it, at plus 126. So pretty similar. The only problem is I think Bet365, you might not be able to parlay them, or I tried to, and it didn't change the odds. And then FanDuel won't let you parlay an odds, an outs prop. So unless it first SGP kind of thing. So you could just take the irregular under and strikeouts. The problem, what reason I didn't do it is that was about minus 140. These 2 legs I think are heavily correlated. I don't see him getting 5 Ks today, and I don't see him pitching past the 5th inning. And let's hope the Athletics can do some damage to him, get him out of here early. Let's tag him for 6 earned runs, get him the heck out of here. I'm fading Chad Patrick, who's been one of the luckiest pitchers so far this season. What do I mean by that? He owns a 1.76 ERA. Problem is his expected ERA is nearly 2 above that, 3.65. So he has been a little bit lucky. And in his 3 starts, he had 1 game. It was that crazy game where the Yankees put up 20 runs. That was the 1 appearance. But then they started starting him as a reliever turned starter. In his 3 starts, he's only hit his K prop, had 5 Ks in 1 start. Only gone into the 6th inning in one of those starts as well. He's a guy that they really don't have a long leash for him. He probably pitches around 80 pitches, so he's going to have to be pretty efficient if he is going to go into the 6th inning. And at that point, he's probably cooking the Athletics. But again, the A's have been a pretty good offense. We saw them yesterday against Freddie Peralta. Didn't do a lot of damage to him. Got 7 hits. He did get 5 strikeouts, but no earned runs on him. But got him out of there in the 5th inning. He threw about 93 pitches, I think. Look, I think this is a guy in Chad Patrick that's much worse than a guy like Freddie Peralta, and he struggles with some walks. We've seen in his last 3 games, his 3 starts, 3, and 2 walks. We look at this Athletics offense versus right-handed pitchers this season. Number 1, they own a 17% K rate, 2nd lowest in the in majors. I want to say versus righties, Toronto is the lowest, and I know the Padres are right there. But they also own a 9% walk rate. So they have guys that can sit up there, be patient at the plate, work the counts, which we love to see. And of the last 9 right-handed starters to face them, only one of them has actually managed to hit 5 Ks. That was Freddie Peralta yesterday. And like I said, I think they're going to do some damage to Patrick. He's 8th percentile in whiff percentage, 14th in walk percentage, and 14th in ground ball percentage. I bring up that ground ball percentage because what nukes an outs prop is getting a double play. Those absolutely just destroy you. When you get a guy on base, you're like, all right, let's make this a big inning. Boom, double play. They get 2 outs in 1 swoop. You want to make a pitcher work, and I think they make Chad Patrick work today. I don't know if they get runs on him. I honestly almost did the over 1.5 for the A's, the team total first 5. That would have taken this parlay from plus 130 to I think about plus 200 on DraftKings. I'd rather not do that. I'd rather just ask them to be patient at the plate, limit the strikeouts, and get Chad Patrick the heck out of here. So I really like this play. It's plus 130 on Fanatics, a 2-leg parlay. You could take either of the props individually, but a reminder, the outs prop is like minus 160. The under and strikeout is about minus 145, maybe even more juiced on more books. So again, I like this little 2-leg parlay. But Logan, before we get on out of here, do you have anything else that you did look at on this slate? I guess I could talk about 1 or 2 things.
You go first. Like I'm
Yes,
trying to think of
yeah, I
some
can
new
lead.
ones.
To wrap up the video, I looked back in the Blue Jays today, or back in some sort of over in Toronto. I wanted to run back my under, but the Jose Barrios has pretty bad numbers against the Mariners, and the Logan Gilbert first road start, and the Blue Jays actually have some pretty good numbers against them. I just didn't back it over because I don't feel like I'm getting timely hits right now from two teams, so that's why I didn't do it there. I can look at the rest of the slate. Is there anything else that you took a peek at?
Yeah, I was looking at some. I know obviously you were on Caminero in that Rays game. I was looking at back in the Rays as a whole. I do think that's just a very good matchup for that offense as a whole. That was definitely one I looked at. Am I bold enough to take an under in Wrigley right after they just scored a million runs? I'm not bold enough, but it is one I looked at for sure because you look at that total. The total goes from 11.5 to 7.5 in one day. Obviously, two way different pitchers. I couldn't be me being bold enough to take that under, but it is one I flirted with the idea of, just couldn't pull the trigger on it, obviously.
Yeah, that one is definitely wind related. I did
Hmm.
look at a Marlins and Phillies play, both to score two in the first five. I just didn't really like the Marlins splits against righties. Taiwan Walker, we know he's not great, but he's been better this season, except in his last start. So we'll see if maybe the regression, maybe the first two starts from Walker were just a complete anomaly. But the Marlins have really struggled against righties. The strikeout rate, I want to say they own the highest strikeout percentage to righties. So I didn't want to get out there, get some guys on base, and watch them Ks. So again, we'll stick with our plays. I can recap them real quick. Manny Machado's over in hits, runs, RBIs. Royals team total over 3.5. Junior Cabaneros over in hits, runs, RBIs. We have the hit parlay between Trey Turner and Brendan Donovan, and then Chad Patrick, this little two-leg parlay. But those are our favorite picks. Let's have ourselves a day. I'm off to the duck race, which I talked about in the NBA video, which if you want to check that out, I'll link it on the video on the screen. Have ourselves a Saturday, and I'll see you guys back again tomorrow. Hopefully, recapping another winning day, and hopefully, we can string together these winning days. Unfortunately, it will not be with the success of Nerfy Nation. RIP Nerfy Nation in the comments. You hate to see it, but we gotta avoid them. We'll see you guys back again tomorrow. Peace.